The hair restoration market is currently at 4.5 billion with a B. It's projected to be worth 13.6 billion by 2028 in 7 years. What type of people do you think are at the top that will benefit from this industry the most? Then what type of people do you think will suffer at this industry the most? No matter what the statistics say, what do you think? Peep this, right? There are over 1,900 beauty slash cosmetology schools in the United States. Less than 10% of them are Black owned. And on average, less than 5% cover how to care for, grow, or maintain textured hair. Nor are we taught that in our homes most time, because most times our parents didn't know either. But why would we expect anything different? I mean, let's take a look at our history together, shall we? Let's go back before worldwide colonization. In the early 15th century, Black hair was used as a carrier of multiple messages in many African regions. Just by looking at their hairstyle alone, you could tell a person's marital status, their age, their tribe, their economic wealth status, their social status. It was them. It was who you are. It was your identity. That still rings true today, which is why when we're losing it and suffering, we respond emotionally the way that we do. It had a really heavy social significance then, just like it does now. Not just in aesthetics, but significance as well. Because if you just think about in today's day and age, if someone's hair is not done or not as upkept as it should be or done a certain way, we're ridiculed by our own and the others. So back during that time, if a woman's hair was unkept, it could mean that they felt like she was suffering from depression, which they didn't call it depression back then. And that she wasn't able to take care of herself, which meant that to them, she wouldn't make a good wife. She wouldn't make a good mother of their children. She would not be able to lead the home successfully with them. So then the first Europeans arrived, right? They enslave us. They immediately shave our head, stripping us of our identity, our connection, our groundedness. They were trying to humiliate us and succeeded, more than likely. So now we're here with a bare head exposed to the sun, working in the field, carrying things on our heads without protection. So we start turning to head wraps. Head wraps were, of course, used for our benefits because, as you know, we would carry messages in our head wraps. But that was the field workers. The house workers were required to wear more tamed, neat hairstyles that resembled more like the master of the house hairstyles. But then those hairstyles started looking a little too good, and Mister started liking it. And they created laws to make us cover them up. They are known as the Tignon laws. So, okay, I mean, look at the dates. We complied. But the constant drilling into us that we needed to conform our hairstyles to our counterparts, in my opinion, kind of took on a life of its own. Fast forward to perms. Straightening hair was nothing new. They used to straighten their hair with axle grease when they were slaves. Before the late 1960s, there wasn't like publications or information telling you, how you can straighten your hair. They stripped us of the ability to hand down information and pass it on from this generation to that generation, or even from family member to family member. So it was lost to us and to them. So we became this big giant experiment. So Garrett A. Morgan, a Black man, actually created the first chemical hair straightener. It was based on alkaline chemicals, but needed to be mixed with lye soap. And that's where the problem came in. Lye soap back then was the only way that soap could be made in order to use it as a straightener. So it started out as a good product, but then had to be ruined with the add-on. Go figure. So they used it on us and tested and learned that lye is actually damaging to our strands. Then they went to no lye relaxers. But you know what else lye did? Lye caused an epidemic of fibroid tumors in the African American community and a higher rate of sterility and a almost 70% increase in hysterectomies. How many Black women in your family have hysterectomies? Then came descriptions such as nappy, kinky, and unprofessional. Hair straighteners marketed by white companies suggest to Blacks that only through changing physical features will persons of African descent be afforded class, mobility within Black communities, and social acceptance by the dominant culture. Nalawi M. Brooks. To this very day, we are still fighting. To the ability just to be able to wear our hair naturally in its natural form without judgment. So with that being said, do you really think the majority benefiters of the $13.6 billion hair restoration industry to come has your best interest at heart? Do you really think they have your best interest at heart? Honestly, how many products have you tried that didn't work? How many professionals did you see? Dermatologists, doctors. How many? How long have you been stuck like this? You see, your hair was never the problem. It wasn't the way that it shined and sheened and glistened in the sun. It wasn't the ebbs and flows of her emotions demonstrated in her versatility. Embellished with or without anything added. Just beautiful in its own glory. It wasn't her. It was you and the presence you and her brought on your worst day. That, my dear, is why they hate you for it. But stun on them anyway. Because knowledge is power. And I am here to give you 5 misconceptions the hair restoration industry does not want you to know. Because whether you know it or believe it, you already have everything inside of you to be able to change your situation right now today. Your hair growth situation can go from no growth to immediate growth. It's all about knowledge. It begins with clarity, mindset, and gaining the proper knowledge. I'll see you in the next video. You don't want to miss it because these misconceptions can take you from not having any growth today to having some growth within the next 30 days. They can take you from having excessive shedding today to stopping it